This video is a request from one of my subscribers. I'm really excited to be able to share this gift box with attached lid with you today. Let's get started. She wanted a 2x2 box using the explosion board with an attached lid, and so I worked out some measurements, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to put this together. It's really cute. I used some papers here, and these were from Hobby Lobby, from a little 6x6 Valentine pack that I had, and so I just used that just to kind of show what it would look like with the papers on it, but I left the insides plain. And anyways, I thought that I would go ahead and make another one for you. The lid is attached. That's what she wanted. She didn't want a lid that came completely off. So I'm using some older papers by Bo Bunny that I had in my stash and some red cardstock. Now, the 2x2 box, if you're using the explosion board, you're going to use a 6x6 piece of paper to make the box. We're just going to score that on the extra small box. Makes a 2x2 box. We're going to score that on the extra small line. Now, while I'm doing this, and you do score it on all four sides, so I should say that too. So while I'm doing this, I will also have a link down below. I do have a pretty comprehensive tutorial on some different things you can do with this explosion board, how to use it, the measurements and all that. And I also have a couple of links for some guides that you can print out. So I will put that link down below in the description if you're interested in going and checking that out. If you're new to the explosion board, I've used this thing extensively. I have lots of explosion board tutorials making all kinds of different things, boxes, books, you know, you name it, I made it. I should say that. Okay, so this is the box, 6x6, scored it all on the extra small line. Now, if you are using a regular scoreboard, 2 inches, okay? So 2 inches on all four sides. So then we're gonna do the lid. Now, the thing about this is I just love that you don't have to really think about it. You just cut the paper the way the chart says, and you can make the sizes. But for the lid for this box, these lids make it 1/4 of an inch bigger than the box. And because it's going to be an explosion box, and that's what that was meant for, you do need a bigger lid so that you can kind of contain that explosion. But for a box like this, where you're doing like a gift box, I want to take it down a notch and to make it fit a little bit tighter, because otherwise it'd just be too big. So what I am doing is, for an extra small box lid, you would cut a piece of paper that's 4.5 by 4.5. But for this project, I'm going to trim it down to 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. That will make it a little bit tighter, but still make it so that you don't fuss with trying to open and close the lid. So it's not going to be too super tight, but it won't be too big either. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so you're going to put the 4 3/8 by 4 3/8 in the grid, and there's a lid score line, and you're going to score that lid score line. Now, if you want to translate this into a regular scoreboard measurement, it is 1 1/8 inch on all four sides, okay? But like I said, if you're using an explosion board and you're making a lid, you don't have to do any thinking about it. You just score on the lid line, okay? And that's all you're gonna need with your scoreboard. And so then what you're gonna do, we'll start working on the box first, is we're gonna do some pinwheel cut around to cut tabs and create the box. I do not like making my boxes using the diagonal score that they show you when you get the instructions for this board, because I just think it's too bulky. And then when I do it this way, where I pinwheel it, so what I did was the outer corner, I cut straight up, and then I cut a notch, because this is going to attach to make the box. And then I turn it, and I just keep going all the way around. That's kind of my pinwheel way of cutting this. So you cut straight up, because this middle square, these middle squares are going to end up being the sides of your box. So you don't want those cut, you want those nice and square. But we're going to trim this guy a little bit so that it fits, you know, well with inside the box. Hope that makes sense. This is kind of an on-the-fly tutorial, so I didn't do a whole lot of prepping on this. I just kind of like busted it out in the last half hour. So I hope it works out good for you guys. So there it is. So 4 pinwheel cuts, so straight up to start, cut that wedge out for the notch, and then cut the other side. So you have the tabs and you have your squares intact for the sides of your box, okay? So then let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and fold and burnish our score lines. Okay. Fold and burnish all our score lines, okay? Then we'll go ahead, this is the inside of the box, we'll go ahead to the outside of the box, and I went ahead and cut papers already, and these papers, because the sides of the boxes are going to be 2 by 2, I cut these 1/8 of an inch shorter, so I cut them at 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. When you put them down, just be aware that you want the direction to go properly, okay? So you want to make sure that if there is a direction on your papers, that you want to make sure that when the box lids, or box sides, excuse me, fold up, that they fold up and the direction is appropriate, okay? So just make sure you do that. If you do it and turn it like I'm doing it, then you know that you're putting them on the right direction. It's kind of one little trick you can use. To do that. So I'm gluing these on, and I'm going kind of quickly. I'm not going to put pattern papers on the inside of this project. If you do want to put pattern papers on the inside of this project, you do need to wait until the box is completely put together because of the tabs, and you'll see what I mean in just a second, okay? All right, so last one here. A lot easier to do this with you know, your box flat, obviously, but it can be done. You can put the box together, you can put paper out, and afterwards, you know, it's whatever you want to do. So then we're going to turn it over, and on all 4 of those tabs we're just going to put some glue around, and we're going to match the sides here nice and square, press that down, and then burnish it down. I'm using art glitter glue. It dries really nice and fast, but you want to make sure you get that nice and burnished down. And then we're just going to continue around. So I'm going to put glue here. Matching my corners there. And one of the reasons why we cut the tabs at the angle on both sides is so that it doesn't stick up beyond the top of the box, just in case you cut or score your paper a wee bit funny. You won't have tabs sticking up, okay? Now, I'm gonna glue this one, third one, and again, glue. Now, I also like to keep these tabs the same width. I don't trim them down because they do add a little bit of extra security to the box. Okay. Oh, and before I glue that down, make sure this last tab is on the inside. That's going to make it a lot easier when we go to glue that one, let me tell you. Don't ask me how I know. I'm gluing that down. Okay, so then the last one, it's inside the box. We're just going to fold that down. This one gets a little bit trickier to glue down, but again, it can be done. Just going to put that glue down in there on the tab. Okay, and then fold it down again, making sure that our sides are nice and square. Oh, you know what I did? Shoot, you guys, I already goofed. So, what I should have done, and let me cut another piece of paper and I'll show you what I did. Where did I put my extra papers? I just had them. There they are. Okay. So I'm going to cut another piece of paper because I'm going to show you. And you might have already figured this out, but I'm going to show you. So I'm going to cut another piece from my box, 2 7/8 inch by, or excuse me, 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, okay? Because we should not have covered the back of our box, okay? Just trim that up a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna see why in a minute. So we got another piece of paper, that's okay. So just pick whichever side you want to be the back of the box, okay? And it doesn't really matter, whatever you want. I'm just gonna use one of these striped sides. So one side of the box needs to be the back. Do not cover that with pattern paper. So we should have only covered with 3 pattern papers. So then grab your lid. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to make the flap that's going to attach to the box, okay? So we're going to cut straight up here and cut that square completely out. And we're going to cut the squares out and we're going to go straight, okay? We're going to do that on both sides. And that's going to end up being the back of our lid, okay? So that'll be the back. And then these two here, we're going to tab just like we did with the box, but I'm not going to pinwheel it. I'll just go ahead and just do it like this, and they'll both go to the front of our box, okay? So we'll cut straight up the front, notch that, and then notch this, and that'll be the tab that attaches the lid and makes the lid shape, okay? So again, I knew I was going to do that too. And I even like made a mental note about don't cover the 4th side of your box. I swear, sometimes I should have, instead of made a mental note, what I should have done is made a post-it note, but you know, there's that. Okay, so here's our box lid. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cover this with some pattern paper. So the lid itself now will measure 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. We have 1 1/8 wide sides for this. So I'm going to cut my pattern paper at 2 by 2 for the top and then 1 by 2 for the sides. And you only need 3 sides and then 1 middle piece. So I'm going to just take my glue and we're going to cover the box. Now this is going to be the back of the box where the squares we cut out. So I want to make sure my paper is the right orientation and it's facing front. Okay, just like so. These papers are so old and I still have them. I keep using them, but I got to tell you, that paper pack from Bo Bunny, it had a lot of paper in it, so I'm still using it after all these years. Bits and pieces, making Valentine cards and little things. All right, so lost my 3rd piece. Good gravy. All right, 2nd piece. Again, much easier to do this while it is flat. 3rd piece. I hope that this tutorial makes sense and this is what she was looking for. I think it was. So hopefully I'm going to get this out tonight because she was asking about it today. So I'm hoping that this is what she was looking for. So we will find out. I hope so. Keep your fingers crossed. All right. I'm going to put tabs or glue on both of those tabs. And then I'm going to just form those up, matching the sides, or the corners, I should say. Okay. Like that. Okay, so there's the lid of our box. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to just cut a little wedge, kind of like we did to make the tabs for the box. We're going to do this for the back of the lid, okay? Like so, just cut off a little bit. it's going to get covered up. You're going to see where I made my boo-boo here. Okay, so if we're using this as the back of the box, that needs to glue to the back of the box. That's why you didn't have to cover it. So that's why we need another piece, because we're going to cover it afterwards. So we're going to just pretend that isn't there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on this tab. Where did my glue go? Rolled away from me. And we're going to go almost to the score line, not quite. We don't want glue in the score line because we want this box to close. And we're going to center it. Now there's going to be about a 1/16 of an inch of space on either side of the box. So the lid will be about a 1/16 of an inch wider. And I'm using my finger here because it's going to be kind of hard to get this in here with that lid put together, okay? All right. So I've got that attached, and now we close our box, and there it is, okay? So lid is attached, it's there, but it won't get lost, so that's good. Then we're gonna just go back here, and remember, we're pretending that pattern paper wasn't there. This is gonna be our 4th piece of pattern paper, and this is the last step, and we're just gonna cover that like so, right over that tab. And voila, your box is done, okay? And then you can go ahead and fill this, decorate it. She said she was trying to work on an advent calendar. So there you go. That's how you would make a 2x2 box with an attached lid. So now at this point, so like I went back in after the fact and I put some more pattern paper there. You could totally do that if you wanted to. Pattern paper on the inside of the box really needs to be done after you put the box together, but you could put another piece of pattern paper here while you're making the lid, so you can do whatever you want. I did not put pattern on the bottom, but again, you can totally do that too. But you'll notice when you make it this way, the sides are pretty sturdy too. So that is my tutorial using my explosion board that I love dearly. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Stay crafty, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.